Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. Whether it's the allure of a nice paycheck or one last chance to perform at the greatest wrestling show on earth, professional wrestlers traditionally have found it hard to resist the siren song of WWE. Here are 12 wrestling legends whose WWE returns tarnished their legacy. Number 1. Kevin Nash. Big Daddy Cool's size and charisma has always kept him in demand, and 2002 was no different when Vince McMahon brought him back along with the other founding members of the New World Order, Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall. The thought of seeing Nash compete with stars from the Attitude Era such as The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin showed promise. Unfortunately, Nash was like a once stately home ravaged by termites. Nash looked fine on the outside, but he was a wreck on the inside. In March, Nash suffered a biceps tear that sidelined him for weeks, followed by a quadriceps tear upon his return in July, leading to rumors that Las Vegas was taking odds on when and what injury Nash would suffer next. WWE decided not to renew Nash's contract in January 2004. His role was forgettable, and by the way, we all know how pathetic his angle was with CM Punk when he returned in 2011. Number 2. Scott Hall. Kevin Nash's outsider tag team partner had been one of the few highlights of the WWF during the mid-90s, but by 2002, personal demons had ravaged him as Scott Hall was a mess in and out of the ring. He began feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin, facing the Rattlesnake at WrestleMania 18. Unfortunately for Hall, he was going through divorce and his drug addiction didn't help the cause, which led to a quick exit from WWE. Hall entered the WWE in February 2002 and was let go by May, ruining what could have been a successful second act. Number 3. Scott Steiner. By 2002, Big Papa Pump had come a long way from the days when he performed high-flying moves like the Frankensteiner with the same ease as he executed a plethora of suplexes. Now, he was the equivalent of the LJN WWF action figures from the 80s, which looked really good but had zero physical articulation. Steiner started off on Raw with a main event program against World Heavyweight Champion Triple H, leading to 2 title matches at 2003's Royal Rumble and No Way Out pay-per-views. Steiner went from the main event to debating Scott Nowinski about the Iraq War. He was paired with Stacy Keibler. That was fun to watch, but it didn't last long. He was put into a program with Test, and then teamed with him throughout the rest of 2003. Steiner made a final appearance at the 2004 Royal Rumble before an injury put him out of action for 2 months. And the WWE finally cut its losses, releasing him in August 2004. Number 4. Rob Van Dam. After a stint in TNA, WWE fans were pleasantly surprised by the June 16, 2013 announcement at Payback that Rob Van Dam was returning to the company. Van Dam won lots of praise from the fans who chanted, "You've still got it," and had some high-profile matches, including 2013's Money in the Bank ladder match and a World Heavyweight Championship match against Alberto Del Rio. While Van Dam competed for various WWE championships, he always came up short. It was clear that RVD could still put on entertaining matches, but his main role was to put over younger talent such as Adrian Neville and Seth Rollins. He made a one-off appearance at the 2014 Slammy Awards to present the Slammy for Extreme Moment of the Year. Number 5. The Dudley Boyz. After WWE decided not to negotiate a new contract, Devon and Bubba Ray found new success in TNA. Team 3D, as they were now known, found championship success in TNA, winning the NWA World Tag Team Championship and the TNA World Tag Team Championship after TNA withdrew from the NWA. Bubba Ray turned to singles competition where he found success as Bully Ray, the president of a heel faction called Aces and Eights, winning the TNA World Championship twice. Given Bully's success as a singles wrestler, rumors spread that he might return to the WWE in singles action. Bubba Ray returned to WWE at the 2015 Royal Rumble, participating in the Battle Royal until Bray Wyatt eliminated him. Ray disappeared until the August 24, 2015 edition of Raw, when he and Devon returned as the Dudley Boyz. They would unsuccessfully challenge the WWE Tag Team Champions The New Day at the Night of Champions pay-per-view and the WWE Network special live from Madison Square Garden. From there, the Dudleys put over teams such as the Wyatt family. A heel turn on the February 8, 2016 Raw led to programs with face teams such as the Usos, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, and Sami Zayn and Neville. The Dudleys announced their departure on the August 22, 2016 Raw, turning face before they left. Doing the honors one last time, they played victim to Anderson and Gallows, who attacked them, putting Devon through a table. Number 6. The British Bulldog. Davey Boy Smith had a long career, first shining in WWF as one half of the WWF Tag Team Championship team, the British Bulldogs, then in singles action as the Intercontinental Champion, and then later the European and Hardcore Championship, as well as a WWF Tag Team Championship run with Owen Hart. The Bulldog would bounce back and forth between the WWF and WCW before returning to the WWF for one last run in 1999. Sadly, the Bulldog of 1999 was a shell of the man the fans had seen before, ravaged by injury and personal demons. During his previous run in WCW, the Bulldog hurt his back in a freak in-ring accident after hitting a trapdoor setup for a later angle involving the Ultimate Warrior. The Bulldog suffered an infection and was hospitalized for several months before WCW fired him. Upon his return to the WWF, the Bulldog fought for and won the Hardcore and European Championships. He fought in a six-pack challenge match for the WWF Championship at Unforgiven but came up short. A program with The Rock saw the Bulldog counting the lights at No Mercy. From there, the Bulldog floated between the mid-card and upper-card before Vince McMahon sent him to rehab, hoping Davey Boy Smith could shake the painkiller problem he'd acquired while recovering from the back injury from WCW. Unable to deal with his issues, he was let go by the WWF in June 2000. Number 7. Road Warrior Animal. Hawk and Animal's run as the Road Warriors during the 1980s will forever be remembered as one of the most dominant runs by a tag team from any era. By 2003, Road Warrior Hawk was dead and Animal was paired with John Heidenreich, a big man whose biggest claim to fame was taking liberties with Michael Cole's manhood, in a storyline, or at least we think. While Animal won the WWE Tag Team Championship with Heidenreich, defeating Eminem at 2005's Great American Bash, it was more a nostalgia run, and the new Legion of Doom only held the belts about 3 months before dropping them back to Eminem. After a brief team-up with Matt Hardy, Animal turned heel and focused on singles competition. Like some of the other wrestlers on this list, it was clear that Animal's best days were years behind him. In all fairness, the Road Warriors were never known for their great in-ring work and not in singles competition. On June 26, 2006, Animal was released from his WWE contract. Number 8. Sable. When WWF diva Sunny began sizzling up the WWF with her sexy ways, no one could imagine it could get any better. That changed when Mark Marrow joined the WWF in 1996, bringing along his smoking hot wife Rena Marrow, aka Sable. Sable quickly eclipsed Sunny in the sex appeal department and took things to a whole new level when she posed for Playboy. However, as Sable's fame grew, so did her ego, and she left the company in 1999, but not before filing a multi-million-dollar sexual harassment suit. The lawsuit was settled, but few people thought Sable would ever return to the company. In 2003, Sable surprised WWE fans when she returned to SmackDown, appearing as Vince McMahon's storyline mistress. Sable would again appear in Playboy, but as incredible as it sounds, Sable was no longer the sexiest woman in wrestling. With blonde bombshells such as Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson around, Sable was yesterday's news. She'd leave the company in 2004 on good terms, but her legacy was tarnished by her return. Number 9. Bret Hart. The excellence of execution left the WWF on the worst terms imaginable, losing the WWF Championship in 1997's infamous Montreal Screwjob at Survivor Series, but not before punching out Vince McMahon backstage. As wrestling fans know, there's no burnt bridge that can't be rebuilt, and by 2005, the Hitman reached an agreement to record footage for a DVD about his career and accepted inductance into the WWE Hall of Fame. In 2010, Bret Hart returned to Raw as a guest general manager. After making peace with Shawn Michaels, Hart appeared to have buried the hatchet with Vince McMahon as well. Instead, McMahon attacked Hart, starting a storyline feud that culminated in a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania 26. The 2010 match showed that Hart had no business being in the ring, even in a short match. Bret Hart showed tremendous resolve in recovering from a 2002 stroke, but he should have stayed out of the squared circle. Unfortunately, Hart made sporadic appearances in the ring, including a title win over US champion The Miz on the May 17, 2010 edition of Raw. Hart also served as the Raw general manager for less than a month before being fired in a storyline by Vince McMahon. While it was great to see Hart back in the WWE, he tarnished his legacy by stepping into the ring. Number 10. The Ultimate Warrior. After Scott Hall and Kevin Nash left the WWF for WCW in 1996, Vince McMahon turned to an unlikely source for help, the man who had left him not once, but twice. In 1996, the Ultimate Warrior returned, working at WrestleMania 12 and defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Things seemed to be working well as the Warrior worked against Goldust at In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies, Owen Hart at In Your House, Beware of Dog, and Jerry the King Lawler at King of the Ring. Regrettably, history repeated itself as the WWF and the Warrior went their separate ways again as a dispute with Vince saw Warrior gone by July 1996. A brief appearance in WCW in 1998 would only tarnish the Warrior's legacy further. Number 11. Test. Andrew Test Martin's 1998 WWF debut saw him paired up in the heel faction known as the Corporation before he worked into a high-profile angle as Stephanie McMahon's storyline fiancé. This led to his involvement in the Red Hot angle where Triple H abducted Steph and married her, leading to the McMahon-Helmsley era. From there, Test had his ups and downs, but continued working until 2004. In 2006, Test returned to WWE working in its version of ECW and facing ECW originals such as Tommy Dreamer and The Sandman. Test also challenged Bobby Lashley for the ECW Championship at 2007's Royal Rumble, coming up short. After a wellness policy violation in early 2007, Test and the WWE reached an agreement on an early release. While Test's 2006 return tarnished his wrestling legacy, his player legacy will live forever due to his dating Stacy Keibler and Kelly Kelly. Number 12, Tensai, aka A-Train. Matt Bloom had a moderately successful run in the WWF and WWE, working as Prince Albert and then A-Train. By 2004, the train had run its course and the WWE released A-Train after he suffered a rotator cuff injury. Fortunately for Bloom, he found success in Japan as Giant Bernard. Bloom worked in All Japan Pro Wrestling before moving to rival promotion New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he worked as a monster heel. In 2012, the WWE hired him, bringing him back as Lord Tensai. Lord Tensai would get a big push, including wins over main eventers John Cena and CM Punk. For whatever reason, WWE pulled the plug on Bloom's push and his career hit the skids, reaching the bottom when he was called Fat Albert by Santino Marella and forced to wear lingerie for a dance-off with Brodus Clay. Eventually, Bloom was paired with Clay as Tons of Funk. As 2013 wound down, the WWE broke up Tons of Funk, and in January 2014, Bloom was taken off WWE TV. What could have been a tarnished legacy turned into something good when Bloom joined NXT as its head trainer, replacing Bill DeMott. Since then, Bloom has received accolades for helping build NXT into the success it is. So what did you think of our selections? Did these wrestlers tarnish their legacy coming back one time too many? Did we miss anyone? Be sure to leave your comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Slat Rock channel. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And as always, thanks for watching.